Welcome back to another opportunity to learn, to unlearn, grow, and evolve, not just on your own, but together, because we're a community. And we are tapping into and living from the peace, the clarity, the confidence, and the power that exists at the core of all of us. And on that note, I had a session this morning with one of my clients, and we were talking about practices that allow us to really live from, to express this core self that lives within us, this fire, this passion that lives within us, instead of being caught up in the habits, the patterns, the beliefs that aren't serving us from our conditioned self, how we've been told to be, the old coping mechanisms that are not serving us. And the one thing that we came down to, the one thing that is the beginning of any healing journey, at the beginning of choosing a response instead of reacting to something in life, was breath. It was breath. The reason that we spoke about breath in being able to transform our experience in any moment is because when we become triggered, often we go into something called survival mode, which is essentially when our nervous system goes into fight or flight or freeze type of mode. And when that happens, we don't feel safe, we feel threatened, and therefore we feel triggered and we become fearful or in a survival mode, which will use our energy and will prioritize our energy to be in places that do not involve the prefrontal cortex, that do not involve the social creative functions of our brain, but rather the parts of our bodies that are ready to fight, that are ready to run, that are just maybe freezing as well. So this isn't prioritized. But what happens is when we get triggered, when we go into that survival mode of the nervous system, well, we get to shift that by changing our physiology. And the way that we could change our physiology, one very powerful way that we always have at our disposal, is our breath. Because our breath is one of the major instruments in shifting our mind, in shifting our body, and therefore really shifting our nervous system underneath. And there's a quote that I love, and I've dropped it on here before, and that is, the body follows the mind, and the mind follows the breath. I'm going to repeat that one more time. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows the breath. So, with that said, when we become triggered, when we go into that survival mode, when we really get caught up in the old triggers that we have, the old patterns and habits that we have, but we don't want to, we want to consciously create our life instead of reacting, then we could start to employ our breath to come into what is the opposite of survival mode, which is known as social mode. And social mode is when we feel safe within our environment. It's when we feel safe within our bodies. It's when we, because of that safety, have more creativity, have more of a rational mind. We could sit and be playful, childlike, because we feel safe within our environments, within our bodies, within our minds. And that allows us an entirely different, much more connected style of life. And that also is where our core self shines. It's when we're in social mode that our nervous system is at a relaxed state, also known as rest and digest or feed and fuck, where we get to be relaxed enough to engage with the relationships around us, the coworkers around us, and be in life, connected to what our environment is at any given moment, instead of being caught up here, right? Being caught in the mind, because that's often where we go when we become fearful. And so we want to engage that social mode. And so today we are going to do one practice together that's going to allow us to get into that social mode when we become triggered, so that we can choose a different response instead of react based on our old habits, instead of reacting on our old patterns, instead of reacting on our old coping mechanisms. We are going to shift our physiology when we become triggered. And because we're shifting our physiology, Now we have more clarity. We have more of our consciousness and energy available to choose how we want to respond, choose how we want to respond to an old trigger so that we can create new patterns, the ones that are serving us, the ones that are helping us thrive. So, with that said, we are actually going to go into the other room and we're going to do what I call visualization breath work. And this visualization breath work is built on that quote that the body follows the mind and the mind follows the breath. So in this breath work exercise, we're going to use the breath primarily, and we're going to blend that with, bring it together with the mind to really shift our nervous system state, to really shift our body experience in what's going on a holistic level. So, with that said, come join me in the other room. And the beautiful thing about this practice is that you can really practice it anywhere at any time. You can practice it in your office at work. You could practice it while you're driving. You can even practice it while you're at the family dinner table, because nobody even has to be aware that you're doing it, because the things that we're utilizing are things that are naturally existent in our experience, in our bodies anyway. Our breath and our mind, right? So we can always use them no matter the time or the place. And so today we're going to practice it in more of a comfortable setting than our office chair or in our meeting rooms. And so I invite you to just begin by finding a comfortable place to sit, whether it's your bed, whether it's a couch, whatever feels right to you, somewhere where you can have an upright back so that you could just feel more wakeful instead of lying down, which often can promote sleep. So feel free to pause the video and find yourself a comfortable spot. Beautiful. So to begin, I'm just going to invite you, once you're in this spot, in this comfortable spot, to take a few deep inhales and exhales. Inhaling in through your nose, deep in behind your belly, and back out your mouth. In through your nose, deep in behind your belly, and back out your mouth. In through your nose, deep into your belly, and back out your mouth. And you can allow your eyes to just gently close here, just listening to my voice. And with each exhale out, feeling the sensation of the chair beneath you, of your bed beneath you, of the couch beneath you, letting you know that it's here to support you. With each exhale out, allowing yourself to release into this support, this comfortable setting, that much more. Inhaling in through the nose, deep in behind the belly button, and back out your mouth. And now, with your next inhalations, I want you to imagine you're breathing in a specific state of being, a specific mood that you want to feel. Perhaps you're breathing in confidence, or love, or courage. And with each inhale in, imagine that you are breathing this state into your experience. Choosing a state that you want to feel, that you want to be. And now, with that same state that you're inhaling, imagine that there is a certain color that matches the energy of this state. When I inhale clarity and confidence, I imagine a very bright sunlight-like color that I'm breathing in. Or maybe for courage, it's a bright green. Imagine there is a color that you're inhaling in with this state that you want to feel. And with each inhale in, imagining this energy, this color, permeating and saturating every cell in your body, from your toes to the top of your head. Really embodying and inviting in and welcoming this state. And now, to make even more room for this state of being, with your next exhalations, imagine that you are purging a state that you no longer wish to feel. Perhaps it's fear. Perhaps it's doubt. Or maybe even anger. And with whichever state you are choosing to release, imagining with it a color that matches its energy. And with each exhale out, imagining that you are purging this energy, this state of being from your experience. When I imagine myself releasing fear, I imagine this cloudy gray color being purged from every cell in my body, from every nook and cranny in my body. This cloudy gray color is being released with each exhale. And therefore making even more room, more space for us to invite in the state that we want to feel. Again, breathing in through the nose, deep in behind the belly button, and back out through the mouth. Breathing in what we want our experience to be, and breathing out the state that we are releasing. Maybe even feeling your body relax that much more into your seat. As you continue to inhale what you want and release what you don't. And slowly at your own pace, taking as many more breaths as you would like. Even pausing the video here if you'd like to continue before coming back into our space together. Beautiful. So this exercise, it allows us to interrupt whatever experience was triggering us from causing a reaction based on our old coping mechanisms, our old patterns, our old way of looking at things. This breathing changes our physiology so that we have space to choose how we want to show up, to choose how we want to respond in any given moment. And with that, I invite you right now to think about the next time that you might get triggered. Maybe it's a conversation with a coworker or with somebody in your family going into the holidays. Think about the next time that you can employ this exercise. And remember that you always have it in your tool belt to create that space to respond consciously instead of react unconsciously. And this is making room. This is literally opening up the space for your core self to radiate, to have this beautiful, colorful aura, this radiant confidence in this core self being fully expressed. This is the first step in creating the space for that core self to be expressed. So when do you think that you'll be able to apply this next? If you have any questions as to how this exercise works, or if you have questions about applying it more, or maybe you just want to comment on, wow, like this was actually very helpful to me, drop it in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. And soon we'll be able to practice it together in a Sunday morning meditation too. What resonates with you here? What comes up for you here? What possibilities are now existent that might not have been existent before because we were becoming reactive instead of responsive? And I look forward to hearing those. Aside from that, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And as always, I now offer one-on-one coaching so we can bring some of these practices together in a personalized way. And Sunday morning meditations will be coming back in January 2023. And I'm excited to have that community space together so that we can continue to learn, grow, and evolve individually and as a community, because we are not alone in this journey of healing. All right. I'll see you soon. Much love.